The marvelous Mrs. continues to be masterfully magnificent. It never meanders, and our lead maiden Midge is as magnetic and memorable as ever. The show may not be momentous, however it is not at all mundane. Midge must balance making money, being a mother, and not falling into mean-spirited comedy that mocks and only leads to misery. Mrs. Maisel continues to be meticulous with its love of early comics and the 60s. Furthermore, its themes relating to mistrust and hyper-masculinity, and modestly understanding the masked role the members of the fairer sex faced and continue to struggle with in modern times. It's not at all mysterious as to why one of the main locations of this season that Midge modifies is a strangely magical titty bar strip club nudie shop, in which the males may mouthwater. However, there is a somewhat morbid level of creativity as they truly put on merry musicals. Speaking of creativity, I'm now going to put away my Little Macquarie dictionary, my Oxford dictionary, and my Holy Bible, for the sake of clarity and discussion. The Wizard of Oz and Rear Window style apartment spoofs are well thought out and delightful to watch, especially with Midge's quips leading up to each performance. It's not just something exciting for the screen, but rather these places don't have to be shitholes. They can be somewhat respectful, full of fun, and make more money at the same time. Perhaps all that was needed was a woman's touch, so to speak, to knock out some of the more macho elements.
Over my dead body, am I buying tiny little umbrellas and a feminine product dispenser?
In fact, this is decently close to the crux for this season, that Midge all but spells out in her final performance.
What if we discover one day that we were always the ones in charge? Just no one told us.
Which contrasts to the fact Midge essentially is blowing up her comedy career for petty, unnecessary reasons. We can extend this onto both of Midge's parents, who similarly have tense careers this season, but fail to recognise their similarities to their daughter.
I did like what I was doing, but I'm not like you. I'm not a fighter.
My journey's not so different from the one you're on, Mama. Mine just involves more naked women and dick jokes.
I've mostly touched the bigger picture elements for this season, however the in-the-moment writing and gags remain as chaotic as ever. They really have a knack for having funny wordplay and overlapping dialogues and gags in what would very usually be a normal scene.
We can give out ice cream and walk at the same time, can't we?
Finally, oh, the birthday boy.
By the time we get there... Wait, no ice cream for me?
I've hardly even touched the abundance of fairly interesting side plots that make up this season. So, let's do that. Abe can pull off a cape and continues to be brilliant and obnoxiously share his thoughts, even with the FBI on his heels. Rose's stand-up performance was a great change-up for the conventions the show set for itself. Additionally, she finds herself out of her depths with the matchmaking mob mafia. Susie continues to juggle more and more on her plate, including magicians and the, well, regular mafia. Joel remains such a likeable subversion to the divorced dad stereotype, you know, with major ties to the Chinese mafia. I'm starting to sense a pattern. Some final criticism. It's not always clear which side plots are actually meaningful or delightful distractions. I don't know if Sophie Lennon's return was necessarily justified, however, it did do a good job of highlighting shit comedy that makes money versus Midge's more risque comedy. Moving into the next and final season, we're given an interesting proposition of freedom of expression versus making money and being successful.
You never compromise. You get up on stage knowing the police could be there, or hell, that they are there, and you say whatever the hell it is you want anyhow. Why is it wrong for me to want to do the very same thing?
Jesus Christ, Midge, what a fucking pedestal you put me on.
But ultimately, the show leaves us with one very specific question that Midge needs to ask herself. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? 8 out of 10.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe.